Earlier in the day, we had the embattled CBN former governor Godwin Emefiele. We will recall that today he is supposed to be in the court for the four charges that were pressed on him coming from the EFCC, saying that he's printed about 684.5 million naira at the rate of 18.96 billion naira. So the case is still ongoing in the court. He has actually pleaded not guilty to all of these charges. So more details are coming as they come. We'll make sure that we keep you updated with that. Good afternoon and welcome to Nigeria Now, where we keep you updated with other stories on the paper, and not actually the paper, but there's some of the things that have been happening currently in the country. I am Sela Elisha Dasha. Remember, you can be part of what is happening by joining us via Facebook and drop your comment and your views as well. I'll be doing the program together with Rachel Tansey. Good afternoon.
Afternoon, Sarah.
How you doing?
I'm fine. How about you?
Fine. It seems like the spirit of daily is down to
Down
Nigeria
here.
now.
Yes.
Well, we have quite a number of things we love to discuss on our plate, and we hope that we'll be able to do justice to all of them before our time elapses. And we'd love to start with one of them, which we are seeing that the presidency, after their FEC meeting yesterday, have come to the conclusion that henceforth presidency and VIPs will start paying their fee at the toll gate that's going through any airport they will be using in the country. Presently, they will have to pay for that, and quite a number of reactions coming from that, because according to the aviation minister, we have lost a huge amount of money, and therefore it is important that, you know what, henceforth VIPs and the presidency will start paying at the toll gate. And you know, these are quite things that Nigeria will say. Are we trying to say that for the past years we've been having VIPs not paying?
I believe that's what it means.
Are we trying to say that there are certain people that are above the law when it comes to paying certain things? It's more like saying, Rachel, there are certain people that are supposed to pay tax and other people are not supposed to pay tax. So then how do the government generate revenue when we don't have everybody under the law doing that? And I think that we have gotten to that point where there had to be a resolution coming from the FEC saying that, you know what, henceforth everybody is going to start paying for this, because we cannot have certain people paying and other people not paying. And I saw a number of things on X, Rachel. Some people are saying, is this coming from the president or it's coming from the presidency? Because we've always had where people are saying the presidency is quite different from the president himself. And then where is the money for the payment coming from? Is it coming from their personal pocket, or is it coming still from the government pocket? That's talking about the pocket of the nation and all of that. And of course, you know the answer to that. You don't need somebody else to tell you how that payment will be. But for this for the president to come up with this, I think is the right move in the right direction. This should have been done earlier before now. But I mean, better time to start it now. So let's see how this whole thing will turn out to be eventually.
Of course, Sarah, we can go on and on concerning, is it now that it's beginning to be implemented? Why haven't it been so from the beginning? Looking at how we have our government officials traveling in and out all the time, you can imagine how much revenue have been lost just by not charging them this toll gate fee for all of these years and all of that. So it means that yes, they have not been doing that's automatically the answer, because if they have been doing it, there won't be any need to say they will start paying. So if they are starting, it means they have not been paying it in the past. It is good, it is okay. Either way, I keep saying a lot of these things just keep revealing the gaps in our system. It just keeps showing how certain things are not running well, because it's not even supposed to be in the first place. Start means they have not been doing it. And the question, as we always ask, you always ask this question, is someone, are they above the rule? So it means rule of man, as you will keep phrasing it that way, because when we say there is a fee, when there is a toll gate fee that is supposed to be paid, it means regardless of who comes in and goes out of that airport gets to pay it. Whether you're a VIP or a top government official, it doesn't matter. I know we know for sure it's still government money. As far as we know, as the president, the government takes care of your expenses. You can't be going on an official journey, for example, and then you are paying anything from your pocket. The moment you become a government property, everything is being catered by the government, be it at the state level, at whatever level you're serving as a government and official. However, looking at the fact that all of these sectors function separately, it is important for the aviation sector to be able to fully generate its revenue without interference, without pardons, without waivers for certain government, because you can imagine how much revenue has been lost that could have been gotten from all the back and forth, the in and out of government officials or people we have tagged VIPs. So if we're seeing Kiamo saying that, you know what, we need this to start happening because you are traveling a lot, and just from you we can generate this amount of revenue. And we also saw how, because other things are not functioning in the airport that could generate tax and revenue, we are seeing over 10 billion being lost. That is a lot of money, and we need every sector that money is being pumped into. We're seeing how Sirika is recently going under probing because Nigeria Air is not yet functioning, and how much has been sunk into it. So every sector that gets some amount of money that is eating money is supposed to grow and eventually start showing for its dividend. So yes, it is an applaud for the minister and everything, looking, okay, you know what, under my watch, under my administration, this will not be swept under the carpet. We are losing revenue, and even if the money we know it's coming from another government, it is for our aviation and ministry and sector, and we want to be able to raise our own revenue fully. Even if it still goes back to government pocket, either way, it will be written and stated out there clearly that the aviation sector or ministry have been able to generate revenue fully without leaving any place leaking, without leaving money on the table and all of that. So it's welcome. However we see it, we just hope that they do it diligently, because for this to have been sleeping all those years, it means someone did not see the importance of it and left that revenue to just be lying down there. And imagine how much could have been generated and then even used eventually to make other things to be fully functional, and we won't be where we are. So let's see how this goes, and eventually when we start generating this money tomorrow, we will not hear that the money has disappeared, or you will start saying, no, I only thought this was the estimate, this is what we no, we just hope that eventually, if this works out, we will be able to see what this money was used for, and that the aviation sector grew significantly.
Truly, we look forward to seeing our aviation system doing better, the sector, because that sector, I mean, I remember when they had to relocate from one of the airports to another, and then because of a result of certain things not functioning as they should be. So imagine the ministry complaining that they have lost over 82% of revenue that they should have been getting. So I'm hoping that we'll see this not just by talk, but I hope that if SEC have actually said that this is what is going to start happening henceforth, we'll start seeing more improvement there. Now, still alongside looking at sectors that are crumbling, another sector that we have to look into is that of the education, where we're seeing that ASU is threatening another strike again. I mean, we've had several strikes coming from ASU. This is another threat coming from them. And why is the reason for this strike this time around? It's because they are saying that for the past 1 year, there have been no governing council. And that is to say that for the past 1 year, the university has not been on their own. Talking about having autonomy to actually take certain decisions and certain things, having Senate approving things and all of that for the past 1 year. And this is just one among many other things that ASU are trying to say, you know, we even have an agreement that you are yet to even look into. I remember then talking about accreditation of other universities or departments that have come up and all of that. And all of this thing is beginning to accumulate. And therefore, ASU are saying, you know what, it's either the government will take a step, or they actually have to see that we're going to take a step on our own. And I'm actually scared, because let's not even talk about what happened in 2022, where they had to go on strike because of certain demands that they placed on the table of the federal government. And we know the way things always go like this, Rachel. The fact that there will be on the round table with the Minister of Labor, and then at the end of the day, we hear that the meeting ended in deadlock as usual.
Yes.
And so I'm hoping this should not be. I mean, students already have suffered a lot,
A
because
lot.
always they are the ones that have to pay for this. Let's not even talk about some of our lecturers that had to die as a result of poor welfare coming from the university. So, and I remember, was it early this year or last year, Rachel, where we saw the university saying that they need more hands. We are running short of even
Yeah.
lecturers in the university because there have been no employment for quite a number of years, and some of the professors have to retire as well. So, if you just take a look at things that are happening in our educational sector, whether we like it directly or indirectly, it's affecting other sectors as well. Because when we don't have students being graduated on time, definitely the number of doctors we're supposed to have will go down. The number of certain other practitioners in various places that we're supposed to have will not have it. But this is a threat coming from us, and I hope that the government will take this seriously. They have just 2 weeks to actually do that. So I'm looking forward to see what the federal government will be able to do concerning setting up a governing council in the universities.
Not having a governing council for over a year is just one proof that the government of the day stepped into office and then bit more than they can chew. And therefore, every other place is suffering. Others are suffocating because you came into power and you decided to bite so much when it comes to the economic policies that now every other sector is suffering. And that is basically what we are seeing concerning the Tinubu's administration as it is now. When you come and bite fuel subsidy removal, you bite floating of your currency, now you're biting electricity tariff, you're biting this, and that. All of these things around monetary and fiscal policies, all having to do with money and then the economic activities of the country, you will see that every other thing will suffer because these things are big. They are very big by nature. So automatically, the whole focus will have to be on the economic thriving of the country. That is why every journey that the president does have to do with economic weighing this economic forum here, the G20, the G this and that and that and that. It have to be because when there's so much economic chaos caused by you have to find a way of managing it. And now what are we saying? Our health sector is suffering. Within this period of time, we know that our health sector is suffering. And now we are also seeing the result of that when it comes to our education sector, because even if we have a minister put in place, there is still need for the attention of the president and the presidency in place. And this is how you would know that the government have beaten too much to chew in one sector, and that is why you will see that every FEC meeting, over 70% of the agenda is around revenue generation, around this money.
How we can cut costs of governance and all of that.
Money, because of the economic chaos. And then you can see that health is not talked more about when we have doctors japping and hospitals are dying. Education is not being talked about when we are seeing what is happening. Can we even go about agriculture? We are at the time, even before now, that so much should have been put in place for us to not have to face food insecurity, but nothing has been put in place. We are just going on with what nothing. If not, we would have seen it, we would have heard of it. No scheme has been rolled out for farmers, nothing. And that is why the education sector will suffer, because this is something that needs to be looked into immediately. Why would our varsities go a whole year without a governing council looking at how they need employment, they need this, and that? Because automatically, if that body is being put in place, every other thing will function automatically. So I just hope that the Tinubu's government and administration will begin to reduce what they have fetched on their plate, that is focused mostly on the economic aspect of the country. There are mistakes that could be undone and all of that, but you need to look at other sectors too, because it's dangerous. It's very dangerous, because ASUA are on their right, and we know them. They are more active than NLC because they don't joke When they give one warning, two warning, you don't listen to them. ASUU always act. They're not the NLC that always look like they are being bought or you wonder who they are for. ASUU always know what they want. When they make their demand, they make it clear and then they take their actions. So when ASUU says strike, everybody knows they mean business. I hope it doesn't get to that point. Let the needful be done. If ASUU is giving 2 weeks ultimatum, that is because they know setting up a governing council is possible in 2 weeks. Therefore, anything more than that is not acceptable.
Well, let's see if the federal government will actually do what ASUU is demanding for, because just like you said, I mean, when you look at, you know that they actually have a right to go on strike if they say they're going on strike. In as much as parents, guardians, and everybody will be pleading, our wards are still in school, and we know how things are presently. Some universities are still shaking exams left, right, and center. But we hope that the government truly will look into the plight of what ASUU is saying. I'm tired of hearing it seems there's no year, or in fact for every 3 to 4 months we hear there's something that ASUU have to say. Why can't we just see that the government will just rectify certain things quietly, or we'll just say that things are just moving without us seeing that, you know what, there's a threat for this, there's a threat for that. I mean, we are yet to recover from Labour saying, you know what, we are going to crumble activities of the Electricity Commission. Here again, ASUU is about to do something. So we hope that the government will take them seriously and actually set up that council. Now we're still talking about, you made mention of, you know, ASUU is on NLC, and here we're saying NLC is giving the federal government till the end of this month to come up with the issue of minimum wage. We will recall that beginning of the month, which was made during the Workers' Day, they made mention that by May 31st, they want the federal government to come up with something tangible, talking about minimum wage. And they gave their own that saying at 615,000. We had various states coming up with what they feel. I mean, some states came up with over 400, others came with over 700, and all of that. So I think NLC was able to put all this together and say, okay, let's just come to a benchmark, and they came to bench money of about 615,000, and given the breakdown of what that money will be needed for. And they're saying by the end of this month, they need that money, or there will be, of course, a protest or an action regarding on whatever industrial action Labour will be taking. And we saw where governors, the likes of Governor of Nasarawa State, was saying that whatever the committee is able to come up with, the governors will try to do by, you know, paying all of this and all of that. And we've seen that the federal government have called the committee, because the committee was supposed to come up with something long before now. I mean, by mid-April was when this other living wage was supposed to be done with, and then we have a proper minimum wage. But till date, we're yet to have all of that being done. But I mean, that's what NLC is saying. Ending of this month, we either get the minimum wage, or the government will see our next line of action concerning this issue.
So with or without NLC moving for a deadline, I'm not impressed with the committee concerning the minimum wage. And then the question is, what is stopping you? I'm not saying coming to a concession on what should be minimum wage is easy. But looking at the time that I've been given, we should have had a minimum wage by now. It's not that difficult, Stella. And I'm not saying it's not that difficult because I'm not there. No, it's simple. We have state representatives, we have unions represented, and then we have the federal government represented. What are the federal government can they give as minimum wage? What is the union saying, and what are the governors saying? And then there has to be a meeting point. And that is where we get our minimum wage, and then we move. But I keep saying something about date, time, and implementation. Sele, if we are a government that know what we are doing, and then we want to give minimum wage. First of all, we've talked about this countless times, that minimum wage comes first before any drastic economic decisions that will affect the life of people. There are thoughts that needs to be put in it. Before taking out fuel subsidy, for example, you know what fuel will be. You understand. Before floating the currency, you know what our exchange rate when you eventually do it and all of that. It's not the first time any of that is being done in the country, for example. and then at the government, you come up on your own, even before Labour will come out and start saying it's not enough, and say, because we are going to take this decision, we are going to have a 1-year review of what the new minimum wage is going to be. And looking at what we see it blah 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 blah, allow me to say it like that, you put it at a certain amount, let's say 50,000, and then it's carry along, people are knowing it. Then by the time you are now having a budget for the following year, it comes implemented, knowing fully well that the federal government have said we have taken minimum wage to this level. We have now implemented it going into a new budget season, and then subsequently we take these other decisions. And then when they see that the decisions, the economic policies, the monetary or fiscal policies that are being put in place is above, then this is when NLC will step in and begin to say, yes, the government have added this, and that, but due to the unpredicted or circumstances, of course, that couldn't have been seen, this is what the review should be. And then the government reviews it, and then we have smooth sailing. But you see, Sele, we just walk backwardly in this country. And I keep saying it, that certain things, you don't have to go to school before you know that the Nigerian government are not just only working anti-clockwise, but a lot of consideration is not put into certain things. It says a lot about our government on a lot of levels. And even if you want to be positive about it, you see these gaps and you know that it's kind of intentional, because they have the intelligence, they have the resources, they know what is expected, what is due, what should be done, and what is not done. So is Labour have every right to stand on 31st? It is, of course, because we are now moving into over a year. This coming month in June, we will see that this hardship will linger for exactly a year now, and nothing whatsoever has been done, and you just can't help but wonder. I hope we have a committee giving the minimum wage, and I hope that Labour this time around, if for every other thing you did not try for us, palliative, CNG buses, grains, all of that, if for anything you did not try for Nigerians, please try when it comes to
minimum wage.
Minimum wage. I'm looking forward to that.
Very true, Rachel. I mean, if there's anything that they won't give, I mean, of course, we've not seen palliatives and the rest. So I believe that right now the hope of the common man lies on this whole minimum wage thing. So we hope that whatever the committee are doing, just like you said, I mean, they should be fast about it, because time is no longer on anybody's side. We just want, I mean, we're done with the first quarter of the year. We're already in the second quarter. It's just a matter of time. We'll be in the middle of the year, and then nothing. This is something that should be here for long before now. So let's wait and see. I mean, as we're seeing, ASU is giving 2 weeks, NLC is giving 2 weeks, 1 day. So let us see how this whole thing will be for the federal government. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And also thank you to our viewers for keeping a moment with us on Nigeria Now. We look forward again to meeting you tomorrow. Do have a great day ahead.